Wow. So, a big part of the argument from the trans ideology perspective is you can't just do nothing. You can't just sit on your hands and do nothing. They call it healthcare. What this healthcare is designed to do is to prevent suicide. And they would say, would you rather have a live son or a dead daughter? This is the type of language that they're using. What would you say to someone who used that argument?
Well, that argument specifically is one of the most dangerous of all of them. And it has been said, and I have clients and I have friends that have actually heard that. There's detransitioners I know that their parents were actually told that, literally, word for word. And now they've detransitioned. So what I would say to that argument is, number one, it is never appropriate to say that it's inevitable that someone will kill themselves. That is irresponsible. That's unethical. That's anti-human to say that. We all have a potential to live. If you're struggling with mental health, you should never, ever be told, yeah, you will kill yourself if you don't do X, Y, Z. That is completely the opposite of, that's just not okay to say that to anyone from a moral standpoint and from a medicinal standpoint. Number two, we don't have any evidence that suggests that. In fact, the evidence that we're seeing is that people die by suicide at a higher rate after the transition. Number three, I would say, okay, you're completely allowed to feel suicidal and you're allowed to hate your body and you're allowed to want to transition. None of those things are wrong. You're not wrong for feeling that. However, the fact that you're considering killing yourself over this shows that you're not in a mental space to make that decision. And we need to take some time as a pause. Let's pause this and see what's going on and get you stabilized first.
Wow. Yeah, it's bizarre to me because it's like everything you're saying just sounds so logical and rational. And I know the evidence backs up what you're saying. Why was it so hard for a decade for all of the medical profession, all of the psychological profession, the counseling profession? Why was it so hard? Almost no one in positions of power was willing to say what you just said.
I honestly think it's partly because the system is so broken that we have these clinicians that are overworked, underpaid. They are just going what the textbook says, and the textbook is written by WPATH. So these people are burnt out. They don't really know what's going on. The ignorant, well-intentioned leftists report back to, I call the trans phenomena a non-centralized cult, meaning it doesn't have a central leader. But if there was to be a central leader, it would be WPATH. It would be the radicals at WPATH that set this standard.